Nachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Jaya Giribharadhari Jaya Giribharadhari Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Shata Shishiman His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Garantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Gaura Premananda. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to Shishiguru and Shigoram. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 10, Text number 6, entitled, Prahlad, the best among exalted devotees. Aham tva kamastva bhaktas tvancha swamyanupashajaha Najate havayor artho Raja seva kajoriva Ahantva kamastva bhaktas Tvancha swamyanupasrajaha Najate havayor artho Raja seva kayor iva Ahantva kamastvat bhaktas Tvancha swamyanupasrajaha Nanjate havayor arto Rajaseva Kayor Iva. Please chant. Aham, as far as I am concerned, tu, indeed, akamaha, without material desires, tva bhaktaha, fully attached to you without motivation, tvam cha, your lordship also, Swami, the real master, anapashayaha, without motivation. You do not become the master with motivation. Na, not, anjata, without being in such relationship as master and servant. Iha, here, avayoho, our, artaha, any motivation. The Lord is the pure master and Prahlad is a pure devotee with no materialistic motivation. Raja of a king, Seva Kayo, and the servitor, Iva, like, just as a king exacts taxes for the benefit of the servant, or the citizens pay taxes for the benefit of the king. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O my Lord, I am your unmotivated servant, and you are my eternal master. There is no need of our being anything other than master and servant. You are naturally my master, I am naturally your servant. We have no other relationship. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jivera Swarupa hoy Krishnera Nityadas. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 2108. Every living being is eternally a servant of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Bhaktaran jagyata pashan sarvaloka maheshwaram I am the proprietor of all planets, and I am the supreme enjoyer. This is the natural position of the Lord, and the natural position of the living entity is to surrender unto Him. Sarva dharmam parityaja mam ekam sharanam braja. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. If this relationship continues, then real happiness exists eternally between the master and servant. Unfortunately, when this eternal relationship is disturbed, the living entity wants to become separately happy and thinks that the master is his order supplier. In this way, there cannot be happiness. Nor should the master cater to the desires of the servant. If he does, he's not the real master. The real master commands, "You must do this," and the real servant immediately obeys the order. Unless this relationship between the Supreme Lord and the subordinate living entity is established, there can be no real happiness. The living entity is Ashraya, always subordinate, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Vishaya, the supreme objective, the goal of life. Unfortunate persons trapped in this material world do not know this. Nate vidhu swarvagatim hi Vishnu. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.31. Illusioned by the material energy, everyone in this material world is unaware that the only aim of life is to approach Lord Vishnu. Aradhanam sarvesham Vishnur aradhanam param tashman parataram devi tadijanam samarchanam. In the Padma Purana, Lord Shiva explained to his wife Parvati, the goddess Durga, that the highest goal of life is to satisfy Lord Vishnu, who can be satisfied only when his servant is satisfied. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore teaches, Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalayor Dasa Anudas. One must become a servant of the servant. Prahlad Maharaj also prayed to Lord Nrsimhadev that he may be engaged as the servant of the Lord's servant. This is the prescribed method of devotional service. As soon as the devotee wants the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be his order supplier, the Lord immediately refuses to become the master of such motivated devotee. In the Bhagavad Gita 4.11, the Lord says, Ye yata mam prapadyamte tanstataiva bhajamyaham. As one surrenders unto me, I reward him accordingly. Materialistic persons are generally inclined to material profits. As long as one continues in such an adulterated position, he does not receive the benefit of returning home back to Godhead. Aham tu akamas tvat bhaktas tvancha swami anupashraya nan jethe havayor artho raja sevakayor iva. O my Lord, I am your unmotivated servant, and you are my eternal master. There is no need of our being any other than master and servant. You are naturally my master, I am naturally your servant. We have no other relationship. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaja Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurube Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasavutare Srimate Ramapada Swami. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasavutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatyade Shatarine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj continues, actually in response of Lord Nrsingadev offering all these material benedictions to Prahlad Maharaj. And the explanation of the pastime is the Lord wanted Prahlad Maharaj to show to all of us the mood and the nature of a pure devotee. And the mood and the nature of a pure devotee is this quality of ahaitukiya pratiyata, yayatma suprasidati. That is, there is no motivation and there's no interruption on the relationship that is established between the devotee and the Lord. And the relationship is the relationship of a servant to the Lord. So the essence of the word bhakti is what is it? Bhaj, which means, to actually worship. Like that, when you give yourself to this personality. And so the relationship is established, that's the essence of the living entity. And that relationship is uninterrupted. It's always there. There's not a moment that the relationship is not there. So motivated, uninterrupted, and the natural condition is a condition of suprasidati, great happiness. It's the actual happiness of the soul. So Lord Nrsingadev purposely, he knows the heart of Prahlad Maharaj, but he wanted this to be shown. And that's what Prahlad Maharaj says. You brought me to this world, you sent me here because you wanted me to show this example. And it's wonderful, I think it's quite remarkable and wonderful that Prahlad Maharaj is aware of the Lord's motive, but at the same time he can avoid the feelings that he have in terms of, this exchange. If you know that you have to play a part, then, between you and me, we know. So we play the part, but but Prahlad Maharaj, the emotions and the feelings, they take over. He can't control it. So you can see that it goes from, no, please don't do this, don't tempt me. And also, so he's not only those feelings of vulnerability, comes out that, I took birth in this family of demons. There's loss in the heart in each one of us who appear in this world. So if you put these things in front of me, I'm very afraid because I can be sort of attracted to it. So these are the feelings, although, his position is that he's in another level. He's a Nitya Siddha devotee. He is not, he's a resident of the spiritual world. So he comes simply for a purpose of assisting the Lord in the Lord's purposes He is in the world. And what is the Lord's purpose? Paritranaya sadunam, what is it? Vinashaya chaduskritam. His purpose is to establish the principles of religion and to help the conditioned souls sort of understand their eternal relationship that is forgotten. So the devotees who have come to assist the Lord in that purpose, they're eternally liberated. They're not conditioned by this material world, but nevertheless, they can. It's not fake. Their feelings are there, So it's quite something, and that shows the perfect example of what is the mood and what is the internal world of a devotee, of a pure devotee. So this verse is very beautiful because Prahlad Maharaj was really uncomfortable, and immediately his whole being rejected this whole conception of, why render service and receive something from you? I don't need to receive anything from you. Just the service itself is the greatest thing for him. So I don't really need, some reward for my service. Just the fact that I'm serving you is the greatest, reward. And so that's the mentality. And otherwise, that's just like a, mercantile sort of transaction. I do something, I receive something. Like that. So he's in his whole being just, rejected that. And he just said that there's no other need of this relation. You're naturally my master, I'm naturally your servant. And there's nothing else. So it's a beautiful thing to meditate for us in terms of having this great privilege of being, the servants of the deities, to being residents of the temple, and to be part of this community that is serving the deities is a tremendous privilege that, we cannot comprehend the opportunity to be among the entourage of servants, of Kishore Kishori. And you're thinking about, just my condition as my being as a conditioned soul with whatever baggage I bring, and then still I being accepted to be one of the servants here of the Supreme Lord. So it's a tremendous privilege, it's a great fortune, and it's an opportunity that is a rare opportunity. Because you think about it, of all the millions of people that are in this city, only few can call themselves, servants of Kishore Kishori. And amongst the ones who serve Kishore Kishori, only few are the ones who are fully dedicated to that service. Like that. So it's a tremendous privilege, and to meditate on this mood of I'm very grateful just to be your servant, and you're the master, and to meditate on what is the meaning of being a servant of a master. to have that meditation that I'm just have to make sure that the master's desires and the master's and those who are the master desires are completely served. Those things that are the paraphernalia of the master is my duty actually to look after. And those who are friends and devotees and guests of my master, they're like my master, like that. So, the servant, those who are friends and devotees of my master, they're also, they're higher than me, because they're, it's a meditation that we have. It's our duty to make sure that, they have a very smooth sort of exchange. My master's guest and my master, like that. Or my master devotees and my master. So it's a very wonderful thing to meditate, and it's important for us. It's important to assume and trying to really absorb that role. And in that role, we can find tremendous amount of happiness and tremendous amount of spiritual sort of enlightenment. That's why becoming very much aware that there's not such a thing. If we are one of the immediate servants of Kishore Kishori, it's important that we are aware of everything that belongs to Kishore Kishori, and we serve that in the same way we serve Kishore Kishori. Meaning, the temple, all the paraphernalia that belongs to Kishore Kishori, it's our duty to actually serve that as we serve Kishore Kishori. There's no difference. So assuming the role of a servant and meditating in this role of being a servant, and being very much in guard of this sort of condition or tendency that is there between at least most of us, of having certain conditions to do our service. Try to be very much in guard of things that we have as conditions and try to pay attention and work out and gradually eliminate those. Eliminate when we find ourselves that in order to peacefully do our service, we require, a particular facility. And if I don't have that facility, then I'd be, I need this, otherwise I cannot do. Then when we see that situation, then we have to, this is a motivation that I have. So then what I do I beat myself and say, what a terrible thing, and now I should, I don't know, mea culpa type of thing. No, it's something that is naturally there, but the most important or the first step to actually being able to grow is to become aware. The problem is when we, simply don't pay attention to this, or simply turn a blind eye to this type of conditions that are there. And when we think, no, I got it, and I'm going to continue my path, and this is perfectly all right. Or simply, I just don't think about it. It's just the status quo. I'm fine. Everybody thinks I'm a good devotee. And I'm having some good results in the particular, things that I do. Result speaks by itself. So, great. And I don't pay attention to actually that there is certain things that I, require and that I'm asking the Lord, in one sense that I'm expecting to have. Maybe I don't go in front of Kishore and say, give me this facility, please. But I do, and if I don't have this facility, I'm out of here, or I'm not going to be, serving you directly like that. So maybe we don't do with Kishore like that, but we do with, some temple authorities, or, your immediate temple authority, or your other devotees, like that. So, so what's the right thing to do? Because we do all have certain things that we require to do our service peacefully. We're not yet in the stage like Prahlad Maharaj is, that is completely satisfied in that position, in the position of a servant. There's nothing else. There's, that the service for him is that's it. We may not be there yet. We still have, certain requirements. So what do we do? It's important that first we are aware and we recognize I have this. But when you recognize that, hey, I have a problem, I have this problem, and I can pass through it, so there have to be some arrangement for me to actually, have that in certain regulated manner. So you become aware, you're able to talk, and you're able to, the arrangement will be made, and you can pray to the Lord, I have this motivation, please help me eliminate it. Awareness is a very wonderful thing. Awareness, you see what it was, when we get the awareness of that, then, the path of growing and pass through it and pass it is possible. And then Krishna, through his devotees, through his structure, you can negotiate your things like that. You can ask for certain arrangements, and in general, devotees are very happy to facilitate, the needs of the devotees, for serving happily. But that does not mean that, okay, I'm expecting, that the other mood is, is expected. Hey, I need this, and I'm expected to receive it because I am, I'm the man, like that. I'm the one who is, I've been sort of, I'm good at doing this, I'm empowered, so provide. And if you ask me to do something else or not provide what I need, then I'm not, then you see two different elements. One is an element of awareness and humility. The other one is an element of pride. And, pride. So we have to be very much aware of this tendency that is very much ingrained in most of us, because we do have those type of things that we have to cleanse, So the example is there, the example that we can meditate, that is very beautiful and wonderful. These exchanges, and Prahlad Maharaj just showing his heart. Such an amazing thing that to actually have entrance into this very intimate, connection that is there. This exchange between Lord Nrsingadev and Prahlad Maharaj, and both of them showing their hearts, and being touched by that exchange. How Lord Nrsingadev gets touched by Prahlad Maharaj's sort of beauty of heart, and Prahlad Maharaj also, so this reciprocation is tremendous. And that's our natural position, to be in that space, in that beautiful, loving space. And that's what we aspire for, and that's what we're looking for. So, Srila Prabhupada mentions this famous verse, also Prahlad Maharaj. This is the instructions that Prahlad Maharaj, I think, gave to Hiranyakashipu. That verse in chapter 5. Nate viduswarta gatam savishnu. It's a famous verse. It reads like this: persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life, and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind mind attached to external sense objects, cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. So, as long as I have the blinders in terms of my position and my condition, that the bottom line of these blinders is that I'm actually sort of still holding to the desire to enjoy independently from the Lord. And that's the thing that I'm saying. We have to be so on guard, because that thing is in, that's what my Guru Maharaj says. Just that the fact that we're here and we have one of these is the flag that says, I want to be enjoying independently from Krishna. So it's a fact that is there. That's why we're here in the material world. So, different degrees of this blindness, not able to see, that when trapped, we're connected to that type of consciousness of trying to enjoy independently. And also, in different situations, what do you do when you're blind, you have pride, and even in the position of devotees, we're blind a little bit to our, position, actual position, and we have some pride. So, and you have to continue and rationalize that you're okay. So what do you do in general? What do we do in general? We're trying to find someone that validates our position. So in general, you look for someone who thinks, yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's all fine. I'm fine too. I'm doing the same thing. So you find another blind person who have some also, who is comfortable in that condition, and you follow happily. But then we're losing the opportunity, or become slacking in the opportunity. And then you see it. Most of you has been for some time, you see it through the time how, people come and go. Why they coming and go when you have the greatest opportunity of your life? Why not, oh my God, you really, you got it. But now, oh no, I'm leaving. This is, I'm not getting it here. And then usually the reasons why I'm not getting it is not because for me, no, I'm fine. It's just because the devotees are just too much. I can deal with this, the way things are going, or the way things are directed, or this temple authority, this temple president, this GBC, whatever. You find some excuse outside. Oh, I'm saying, not you, but I'm saying, in general, like that. So, we find similar mentalities, and we follow that. And that's not so nice. It can deviate. Prahlad Maharaj says, as a blind man guided by another blind man miss the right path and fall into the ditch, materially attached men led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruited labor, which are made of a very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the three folds of miseries. So, we have to be, again, this is what I get out of, this verse. I didn't prepare very much. Actually, I didn't prepare at all, just right now. But Nityananda Prana Prabhu was feeling upset in his body, and then he couldn't make it, so he sent a message. So, but just reading it right now, this was something that come to my mind, and it's something that I try to meditate a lot myself, in terms of feeling this tremendous gratitude to be, in the position that I'm able to be right now, and I'm looking forward to be more and more. And understanding that the part of the gratitude is that what the deities and the devotees are providing for me is a situation that helps me counteract some very strong conditioning of, that I have, that is a big obstacle in my spiritual development. And I share that with you. The nature of this body that I have is very I have a difficulty with being regulated. Whatever, I don't know if it's a Spanish body is supposed to be like that or something, but I'm naturally very comfortably irregulated. So you allow me to, just be on my own comfortable, and I happily fall into regulation. It's very difficult. And it hits me in all aspects of my life. Spiritually, physically, mentally, everything. Physically, I have a hard time to be regulated in habits. So eating habits, sleeping habits, things like that. irregulated by nature. Some people are very regulated, like my wife. She's like a Swiss clock in regulation to the fault. Her difficulty, if I reveal, she have a difficult time relaxing. Myself, relaxation is like, that's my element. Regulation is her element. So it's sort of, we help each other with that. It was a good match by my Guru Maharaj in that area. So this arrangement of having, so for me, to establish a regulated program is always very difficult. But when I'm placed, usually, my Guru Maharaj he agreed with that. He recognized that in myself. So he have helped me with guiding me into, that this is the best arrangement for me. When I'm in the temple arrangement, what I used to live in the temple, it was perfect. It was, back then when I was, living in the temple and, in Brooklyn and also in Tobacco, I have no problem. It was just happily regulated by the regulation of the temple. The external regulation regulates my life, and it perfectly happens. Not perfectly, but it happens. And I'm happy. I really love the feeling of being able to do things at the right time, and back then I was very happy, but I was also immature, so I would take things for granted. It's nice when, it's not nice, it's second or third class intelligence, when you have to burn yourself to learn that fire burns. Better intelligence is when someone tells you fire burns. Okay, fire burns. I should not put, I don't have to experience to learn. But many of us, we have to experience to learn. Even after we hear fire burns, I wonder how it burns. Maybe I should try and see to make sure it burns. And then you burn yourself. Oh, I see what this means. So it's also a bona fide way of learning. It's just, less intelligent way of learning, but it's a learning process. So being away and trying to fence on my own has created, with the blessings and the consistent caring of my Guru Maharaj, I have creating the desire to actually being back in the position that I was before, of being a full-time servant of the Lord. And I might come now in this position I think with a little more maturity in terms of appreciating the opportunity. And I'm sincerely, still, the stuff is there, but I have a sincere desire to come to that position and appreciate very much every moment. I pray for that. The prayer is that, that at every moment I don't forget, that I don't take it for granted, that this is the most wonderful thing that can happen into any of our lives. And I'm very grateful about it. And I'm grateful to have the association of the devotees. I'm grateful to be the servant of the deities and the devotees. And I like to be able to do whatever it takes to be, function in that position. So it's a meditation, and again, be very much in guard and aware of things that are popping, and immediately try to counteract it. Counteract it how? By this, I always say, always remember this word of my Guru Maharaj, reconnect to your reality. Your reality is, I'm a servant. So I have to start to think like a servant. I cannot think, like I'm a controller. I have to think I'm a servant. We want to have the position of Vishaya, the master. And sometimes, Krishna puts us in a situation, okay, I'm going to give you some responsibility. So you have to manage. So others are under you. So I'm a master. No, that position is, the position of a manager is that you're the servant of those who you manage. So we have to always connect to that position of a servant. A servant. And I have to assume that position, absorb it, learn it, embrace it. And it's a position of humility. It's a position that, there's no lesser activity or service here in the temple. Because I'm a manager, I'm a senior devotee, why should I clean? Why should I sweep? Why should I not, clean the bathroom or pick up after the devotees, like that? Oh, these devotees, you see, they're leaving the table dirty. Why should I not clean after? If I'm cultivating that mood of a servant, why should I not? So, and that is what we continually have to meditate and embrace. Anyway, some thoughts about this verse. Any comment or question?
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I'm wanting to recognize in myself more the conditions of my service, because that false ego is not letting us see so clearly what those conditions are. Maybe you can help me. How do we recognize those conditions?
One thing that's why the Sangha of devotees is so important, because sometimes it's difficult for us to see, but those who are your well-wishers, those who are the devotees around you, they can help. They can tell us, hey, like that. They can. We ourselves, we have to be very much aware, but we become aware in our, exchange with the devotees. The devotees will tell us, but also another thing that will tell us is when we feel, we feel it in our heart, there's something that is not in place, And in general, when we have that feeling of like, I'm not happy, or I'm not, there's something that is not settled, then usually I tend to, what is causing this unsettledness? And then, I found an external cause for finding that instinct. But we have to cultivate the looking inwards and find, what is it that I'm doing. Most likely, I know that my ego is still there. I know that my condition is still there. So I'm first going to look at those things, and find what is my part, what am I doing, So two things, that we cultivate this inward type of analysis of ourselves, constantly looking at our thoughts and things like that. And the other one is to apply, the 6 loving exchanges, to reveal your mind and to hear someone. So that devotee association is possibly the most healing and important aspect of our growth. Your spiritual master, that functioning deeply into that relationship and having faith. Probably I can share with you, I've gone through a lot of upside downs in my spiritual life. But there's one thing I think has been my saving grace, is that somehow or other I have faith in my Guru Maharaj. I function through my spiritual life, both my wife and I, with one principle: whatever he says, that's it. It's written in stone. We know that that's it. So that faith in itself it has been a very important part of keeping yourself in the fire. And you can tell your Guru Maharaj, I feel this is happening, I'm going through this. And whatever he says, that's it. It's amazing. It's a wonderful thing to have. It's almost like you take, a huge boulder out of your back, to trying to figure it out, and just going through this all twisted thing, so you just put it out, and he says, this and this and this, and then, okay, this and this and this, that's it. That's what it is. And then you follow. And magic is tremendous. So like that, there's your spiritual master, you're a spiritual master in general. There's having sometimes, I've gone through so many things. Like, for example, when we got moved to Tobacco from Brooklyn, I got married, we were asked to move to the Tobacco temple, my wife and I. My temple president is an amazing devotee, Prabhupada disciple, a wonderful devotee who has served Srila Prabhupada in so many ways, brilliant leader. But I was a kid, and I was, very in the ozone in many things. So, I was feeling unhappy about my relationship with my temple president because of right now in retrospective, my ego and my immaturity. I'm thinking, one thing that made me unhappy was I was working with the congregation, and my Guru Maharaj used to just fan my creativity, so I come with ideas, and he say, okay, just go, and like that. So I was, I can come with all these brilliant ideas, So so I come with the idea for congregation development, and then it was a nice idea. And then one time I see my temple president, he, was saying that he established this idea, and I didn't get the credit I deserve. I should have been sort of like, Subal came with this brilliant idea, and we applied, and it was wonderful, and ta-da! So I didn't receive that, and I was really unhappy. He's taking credit for the thing that I've, like blah, 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 that. So I was, I'm not giving, so I was unhappy. So I told my Guru Maharaj, and his instruction was that you do everything that is necessary to work in cooperation with your temple president. So, step back, that's written in stone, I have to do it. So, and he explains to me, the type of thing. So, there is the way I learned and the way I was trained by my Guru Maharaj is that he knows better than me, and there's no such a thing of, it's because my Guru Maharaj is not involved, he doesn't know, he's not informed. But this devotee, he's not informed what this devotee is, So he's very well informed and he knows better. So if I'm put in a situation by my Guru Maharaj to serve a particular community, a particular leader, that service for me is like Kishore Kishori. It's deity worship. Serving that particular devotee, serving that particular community, pursuing that particular service is religion. Because I'm serving my Guru Maharaj. I'm seeing the service of my Guru Maharaj in that person because I was ordered to do that by my Guru Maharaj. There's no difference. So that's my meditation. So, that relationship in which we can actually get that feedback or that sort of direction or help with devotees is the most important thing. And us to be also constantly inwards, looking at ourselves. All right, any other thing? Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.